Welcome to the Whitworth Pirate Podcast. Every show will feature Pirate student athletes telling us about their lives as students, athletes, and people. Now, here is your host, Bud Nameck.
And also talk swimming as well coming up over the next few minutes on this Pirate Podcast. Kim, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. You know, the first thing I think that's important is we need to adjust the Pirate schedule and get a few more teams from Texas on your schedule.
Yes.
You guys have 2 wins this year, both over teams from Texas.
Yeah, we like the Texas teams. I just think the Pacific Northwest has a lot of really great competition, as we can see in our conference. So it's nice to expand and see what the rest of the country has.
And you've got a lot of new faces on the team this year. So I think that takes a while to adjust, right?
Yeah, no, it definitely does. I think that's an important thing to remember about our team this year. Even though it's Kenny's second year coaching and people think, you know, we should be kind of into the swing of things, we really have 4 of our 5 new starters this year. So we are definitely a new team and, still kind of finding our groove within that.
You've been around here a while, though. Is this kind of old hat, or is it all still new things happening?
I would say there's still new things happening. Obviously, I can go off of experience, but having a different coach my first 2 years than Kenny my last 2 years, things are going to be different. And so I can only say from experience the past year what things are going to be like. But you know how it is, things change all the time. And I think that's the nice part about, having teammates. Just getting to bounce ideas off of them, and we can kind of go at it and game plan with each other and figure out what works for us as a team.
How's that experience help you just in terms of being able to kind of hit the ground running at the start of the year instead of looking around again like, oh, wait, what do I do this time?
I definitely think it adds a huge layer of confidence. You can be the one to step up and just say, even if I do this wrong, I was still there. I gave, 100%, and we can correct the rest after. So I think it just gives that, again, added layer of confidence where you're willing to make the effort's already there, and then we can correct the rest if it's wrong. I think you're just a lot more willing to kind of step up and be in that role position, that leadership position, and everyone else will kind of follow after that.
You like the leadership stuff?
I do. I really do. I think that it's honestly my comfort zone. I'm glad to be in that position this year as a senior, and it's really nice to have a team who also is willing to look up to me and I feel like respects me, and I think I obviously respect them. They're great teammates. So I definitely think the leadership is my comfort zone. I like being there. One
of the things that's different for you because of the timing of your time here at Whitworth, you're a senior, but yet you could be a senior again if you wanted to be. Have you thought about that? Have you made a decision yet?
I haven't made a decision yet. It's kind of still open. I'm applying to the occupational therapy program here at Whitworth. So I'm just kind of waiting to see what happens with that. I don't know what that looks like, even if I do get in, trying to merge that and basketball together. So, I'm experiencing this last year as if it could be my last. I'm really trying to take everything in and just have a great time, but definitely not closing the door on that opportunity quite yet.
Overall, how's that been for you, combining playing basketball and going to school at the same time? You learn to manage your time, don't you?
Yes, definitely. I would say this year is finally where I feel comfortable. It has really taken me a couple years to get a hang on things. It's hard coming in as a freshman and trying to manage the time, but I think the team does a really great job at motivating each other. The coaches are in a great position to help. There's resources all around campus to help us as well. So it's definitely doable, but it'll take some time to get used to.
Is there a niche in occupational therapy that you're aiming for, or are you just kind of waiting to see what happens once you get into the program?
I definitely want to do pediatrics. That's kind of as far as I know. I would like to do a hospital setting, but that's harder to get into. So just kind of waiting to get into the program, see what happens from there. But definitely kids. I love working with kids.
So you went to high school in Reardon. Has that always been home?
Yep.
Did you grow up kind of in the town or out on a farm?
Out on a farm. My parents lived about probably 12 miles outside of Reardon, in between Reardon and Airway Heights. So I grew up on a farm. I raised pigs, cows, chickens, all of the above. Ever since kindergarten, I've gone to Reardon.
How about when you're at Reardon or a smaller school like that? Generally, if you're a good enough athlete to play one sport, you're playing all the sports. Did you play a bunch of other sports?
Yep, I did volleyball, basketball, and track all 4 years. It was great. I loved being able to play all of those sports, getting all of those experiences. I mean, even now, I still think back to the times that I played volleyball and track just as much as I do basketball. So I'm really glad that in a small school I got those opportunities.
Was it a no-brainer to play basketball in college as opposed to anything else?
It was for me, yeah. Ideally, I would have loved to play volleyball in college, but I think from an early age, I knew basketball was my top priority. And since probably about 6th grade, I just made a decision and I stuck with it.
Well, Reardon's got a pretty good basketball reputation over the years.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, they definitely, that's a big part. It's a big priority.
So it wasn't a long trip from Reardon to Whitworth, but what led you here?
Honestly, wanting to stay close to home was big for me. I have a really close relationship with my parents. They're my biggest supporters. And so playing basketball, that was a really important factor for me, for them to be able to come watch my games, be a part of that. I also just, sometimes you just want to be home, and I didn't want to have to buy a plane ticket to get there. So yeah, like I said, I have a great relationship with my parents, and it was important for me to be close to them still.
Yeah, it's kind of nice to be away from home at school, but yet still be able to take the laundry home or get a home-cooked meal when you feel like you need one, right?
Yeah, it's the perfect balance, yeah.
So let's talk about this team a little bit this year. We talked about a lot of new players. Talk about you went through the coaching change, and now you've got Kenny coaching you. Probably a different approach than what you were used to.
Yeah, definitely. I just think that, Kenny is obviously extremely smart basketball-wise, and I love that. He always has an answer to every single question, which is really nice. You never have to second-guess where his head is at or, what his game plan is. You know that he's done his research and he knows what he's talking about. So that's really great to have, in that leadership position. He's also super chill and laid back. He's definitely got on us a lot more this year, which I think is good for us and we need. But yeah, it's just nice to have a really approachable head coach to be able to go to outside of practice, during games, and just always be met with that compassion, but also the basketball strategy as well.
He's kind of got that California cool, doesn't he?
Yes, I would say so.
I remember his first game as head coach. He sat and watched and he'd chat with you guys. And I thought, is he wearing a seatbelt? He's never stood up.
Yeah, no, he's definitely not a yeller, not anything like that, which I'm definitely not used to in my experience. But I think it's been a good change, and yeah, I think it's also, it gives us the confidence that he believes in us. He's not worried, he's not chaotic, he's not bouncing around. I think it also gives us a great example to follow, that, just have confidence in ourselves, believes in ourselves, everything is going to work out. We've put the time into practice, and now we just have to show it on the court.
Did you guys have some fun with him last year at the start of the year? Because he's a men's basketball player at Whitworth, was coaching the men's program. There's some nuances, some little differences, women's to men's.
Yep.
Did you get to give him a little bit of a bad time about some things?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I wasn't sure what was going to happen at the end of the year, because we definitely showed him what it was like to coach girls basketball. Just joking around, throwing things out. It's been a good time, and he's taken it like a champ, but I don't think that'll ever end.
Your whole time, you guys have been right on the edge and coming down basically to the last game of the year to get into the Northwest Conference tournament. How much would that mean to you to get that accomplished in your senior year?
I honestly don't even know if I could put it into words. I think that's what obviously everyone strives for starting as a freshman. So I think as a senior, it would just be bittersweet. I honestly wouldn't change this team for any of the teams I played with either. So I think it would just mean so much to me to be able to do it with this team as well. That would just be the cherry on top. I couldn't really describe it.
All right, so game one of the year, you played Sul Ross State from Texas. You got a career-high 27. Last win was against Schreiner from Texas. You had 25. So I'm thinking from now on, every time when you take the court, you need to picture a little lone. Think of the Dallas Cowboys.
Yep.
See that little star on the uniform of whoever you're playing, to think you're playing somebody from Texas. Because obviously it takes Kim Dewey doing some scoring to get the Pirates into the win column.
Yes, yeah, definitely. I know. I wasn't sure if it was the Texas team or both of them have been in the Whitman gym. So I don't know. I don't really want to say that it's that, because that wouldn't be good. But
There's nothing wrong with playing good in Whitman's gym.
Right. Yeah. Hopefully it can be home one of these games. I definitely just the same mentality going into every game, not wanting to do too much, but knowing that that's my role this year, and that's something that I just need to keep working hard at. It'll come when it comes, and just having the same mindset every game, knowing that I'm in that position and I just need to do my job.
As we sit here and talk, you're finishing up finals, and then you guys get a trip to California to play 3 games.
Yes.
What are you going to do when you're not playing basketball in California?
We honestly have a lot planned. We're going to get to go to a Lakers game. We're probably going to go to the outlets and do some shopping, spend some money. We're going to do a team activity that they haven't told us what yet, so that'll be a surprise. Probably walking around on the beach a little bit.
You gonna go pump some iron at Venice Beach or anything?
Yeah, probably do a little workout, run in the sand. It'll just be a really nice end of finals week, relaxing, not have to worry about homework or anything like that. So it'll be a really fun trip.
Well, Kim, it's fun watching you play. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Happy holidays.
Thanks, you too.
We'll talk swimming. Take a dip. We're gonna dip our toes into the pool up next on the Pirate Podcast.
I met Anidas 10 years ago when he first came to New America. He didn't have bad credit, but he just had no credit to begin with. I took the time to really go over some options with him and figure out what steps he needed to take in order for him to build that positive credit to the point where, fast forward 10 years down the road, he's got his business account with New America, he's got his personal accounts with New America, and he's looking to buy his second home also with New America. That was a sense of fulfillment for me in saying, hey, I helped him get through these steps.
I met Chris, it was actually through a phone call, and he was talking to me about his landscaping company, and he was looking to get some financing to buy a truck, a trailer, and some heavy equipment. What I like about New America is when it comes to decision making, it's right down the hall from my office. And we're able to meet his needs within a month. It feels great to see a business expand.
And we continue now on the Pirate Podcast, and we talk swimming. Zach Washburn is here with us, junior from Moses Lake. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm okay. You getting through this finals and everything, and
I'm plowing my way through.
Plowing your way through.
One test at a time.
What was it like the first time you took a final in college?
That's a very good question. I think it was a rough one. I believe it might have been Calc 3 as a freshman.
That's a tough one. Yeah.
Did
you stay up all night cramming for it?
No, I'm not a huge studier. I have a mentality that I'll do fine.
Go to class, pay attention, do your homework. Yeah.
Yeah, if I do the notes, do the work, it'll all pay off.
I learned that the hard way. I thought when I went to college, first finals I took, I thought, everybody talks about you stay up all night to cram. So I did that, and I was beaten. I did horrible on the test.
Yep.
I figured, no, just go to class and pay attention. It'll all be good. What are you majoring in?
I'm majoring in applied physics.
And you're going to do what with that, ideally?
I haven't figured that out yet. I am actually graduating this year, so
you are okay.
I need to figure that out soon and start applying to some jobs and kind of see where it takes me, rather than trying to guide myself there. I'm letting the job market guide myself.
Okay, so is this for sure your last year of competing in swimming at Whitworth, or is it possible you could be in a graduate program and swim next year? Or?
Unfortunately, there is no graduate program for what I'm in, so it'll just be. If I do end up going to a master's program, it would be somewhere else.
Somewhere else. Okay.
But I haven't fully decided if I want to do that yet, if I want to go to a master's program and use that fourth year of eligibility. So right now, yes, it is my final year.
Okay. In some sports, that's kind of a daunting thing to think of, is that this is your last year in competition. But with swimming, it's a lifetime sport, and you can always find a way to compete with yourself, I would think.
Yeah, and I've also considered there's always masters swimming, and I can still go home and practice with my club team and go to some competitions over the summer if I really feel like it, if I want to continue after nationals or conference or whatever ends up being my culminating meet this season.
What got you into the pool originally? Were you old enough to make that decision yourself, or did your parents throw you in the pool and say, go for it?
My sister actually swam. She swam when she was a teenager and even competed for Whitworth some years back. And one day I was 7 years old, walked to the pool for practice to see her swimming, and I told my parents, that looks like fun. And here I am 12, 13 years later, swimming, still in college.
Did that prevent you from playing any other sports in high school?
In high school, a little bit. I've had the option to, if I really wanted to, but I ended up playing baseball from t-ball up until 8th grade.
Okay.
And then my parents finally made me make the decision that I should switch to just one, really focus in on that.
So swimming growing up, in Moses Lake, I would imagine mostly mostly club stuff, club team, as opposed to, was there a high school swim team?
Yeah. We had our club team, which was a little bit smaller, but we had a fairly dominant high school team. Not in the statewide, but in our district-wide, we were pretty competitive with the other teams, and so it was always fun to be a part of that and have the club team to back that up and kind of feed into that and get us more and better swimmers.
And I know swimmers, whether you're in Spokane or Moses Lake, you got to travel a little bit for competition, but I guess the good thing is you're kind of right in the middle, shorten your drive either direction,
Yeah,
right?
about an hour in each direction
Yeah.
every time. It was really nice.
So was it swimming that brought you to Whitworth?
Sort of. It was actually, my trip to Whitworth was actually less than straight. I kind of bounced around. I was committed to a couple other colleges along the way, and those ended up not working out. And then my sister was like, hey, you have a month to apply to school. Like, school starts in a month. This is my senior year. And so she called up Steve Schatt, the coach here, and he called admissions, and they were like, hey, yeah, just submit your application. We'll put you in.
Easy enough.
Yeah. Couldn't be more stressful.
All right, so applied physics. Your freshman year, you're the swimmer of the year in the Northwest Conference. Last year, you were the co-swimmer of the year overall in the conference. So there's got to be a formula for what happens this year. Is there a geometric progression to that, or what?
That really is the highest honor that we possess,
Well,
I
you
think.
can get rid of that co. You can get rid of that
Well,
guy,
yeah.
right?
The co-athlete of the year that was there last year has graduated now and moved on to more and better things. And so we'll see what the competition in the conference does this year.
Okay. So that competitor is gone, but what drives you to do well in the conference this year? There's competitors there, or do you just have to drive yourself to keep improving?
I like to think that there's competition. There are a ton of fast people in this conference that I love racing, and they always push me to be better. And this year, a lot of those swimmers are on our team. And so it's kind of cool because I get to practice with them, and then I get to go to all the dual meets and mid-season taper meets, and I get to race them and see, like, are they progressing? Am I progressing? And, like, let's see how we compare right now.
Yeah, so far it looks like you guys have dominated the duels and the tournaments you've been in. I think you only lost to a Division II team.
Yeah, we only lost to a Canadian team, actually, at our logger meet this last weekend. Which was very impressive because in the years past we've always lost to Southwest Oregon Community College, and so to win this year was a really eye-opening thing of, hey, we are getting better, and we can compete with these other teams that are seemingly better, but we can progress and be better than that.
Okay. Couple records in the free. What's on the horizon record-wise? Any other strokes that you got a chance at there, you think?
Other strokes, not necessarily. I've kind of gone away from the stroke side just because I've had such luck with the freestyle.
Okay. Is that because of the depth on this team too?
That too. We have a lot of non-freestylers on our team this year that specialize in butterfly and backstroke, and then a couple on the breaststroke side. And so me and my coaches just decided that it's better to just keep pulling forward on the freestyle and hopefully get into nationals again this year and continue on with that.
That'd be cool. You guys always take a little trip, it seems like, around Christmas and go somewhere warm and do some team bonding and workouts. Anything on the horizon this year?
Yeah, so we're going to San Diego. I went there my freshman year for the same winter training trip. We stay on Coronado Island, which is kind of cool because it's all within walking distance. You can walk around the island, go different places. We walk to the pool every morning, which sounds daunting, but it's not as early as we do here at 5:30 a.m. And so it's kind of nice to just kind of walk around in the warm air and sometimes rain, but we're getting used to that here. It's raining a lot here.
Any open water swimming when you do that?
We did last year. When we were in Maui. I don't know what the coaches have planned for us this year.
Maybe swimming across the bay and working out with the seals?
I like the seal part of that. Maybe not swimming across the entire bay.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't want to go through Hell Week like they do either. That'd be pretty tough.
No, definitely not.
This hopefully is a little more fun and relaxing trip in addition to training, right?
Yeah, we do train pretty hard when we're down there. Definitely not as hard as the seals, but yeah, we get to have some leisure time and walk around the beach and go sightseeing. Last year, when we were in Maui, we had some other like actual team activities planned, so it was a little more structured. Snorkeling, I don't know what we have this year, so kind of looking forward to see what the coaches have planned.
Okay, you gonna take your guitar and sit on the beach and serenade everybody?
Yeah, I'll put a little cup in front and be like, "Hey, I'm a college student. I need money."
See if that'll work. Yeah. All right. So what do you have ahead of yourself in terms of for this year? Obviously, it started very well for you and your team. Where do you see this season ending up goal-wise for you and this team?
Mm-hmm. Like last year, my goal is to get back into NCAA championships. I'm not sure how my rankings are going to look. I'll have to wait for conference to see where all those line up at the end.
It's kind of always a moving target, isn't it?
Yeah, and some people swim better mid-season. Some people swim really well at the end of season. So it'll just be kind of monitoring that list of rankings and see how I fit in. So yeah, that's my goal for this season. And then team-wise, conference champs would be great. Last year we fell slightly short, but we have a much larger team this year, so we'll have numbers to back that up, as well as just incredible talent on our team this year, which is going to be great to have. And so far, dual meets have proven well.
Mm-hmm. Very well. Well, good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Zach Washburn. And I'll say happy holidays, and we'll talk to you again in January.